AITA for switching to regular milk to prove my lactose-intolerant roommate keeps stealing from me? Welcome back to Reddit Stories, where we decode the most hilarious, controversial, and emotional situations from the Reddit community. Today, we're going to dig into a story that not only blew up the Reddit community with its badass plot, but also sparked a heated debate about the boundaries of retaliation and privacy in shared living spaces. The story is titled, AITA for switching to regular milk to prove my lactose-intolerant roommate keeps stealing from me? This story comes from Reddit user PettyMilkProof, we'll call him OP, who lives with a few roommates and is facing a weird, frustrating situation. Food is being stolen repeatedly without any evidence. OP says he lives with 3 roommates, and in their shared kitchen, each person has their own area to store their food. OP is vegan and follows a strict diet, which includes using unsweetened almond milk, since he doesn't like cow's milk. However, OP started to notice that his almond milk was running low very quickly. At first, he thought he might have accidentally poured more than usual, but after paying closer attention, he realized that someone else was using it, and using it regularly. When OP brought this up in their family chat, no one admitted it. One roommate in particular, a girl OP calls Jamie, reacted strongly. She said she was lactose intolerant, so she couldn't drink other people's milk, which confused OP, but also made him more suspicious. Not wanting to accuse anyone for no reason, OP decided to use a passive but clever method. He bought a bottle of regular cow's milk and put it in the same place as the old almond milk, keeping the almond milk label on the outside of the bottle so as not to arouse suspicion. He didn't say anything to anyone, and the results were not disappointing. A few days later, Jamie started having severe stomach pains, going to the bathroom constantly, complaining that the school food was bad. She even missed a day of school and had to take medicine. OP knew the cause, but remained silent. Unable to bear the uncertainty any longer, OP finally told Jamie that he had changed the milk, and that if someone had a stomach ache, it was probably because they were drinking the wrong kind of milk. Jamie immediately became angry, accusing OP of deliberately harming her health and calling her behavior dangerous. She demanded an apology and a commitment from OP to never do it again. OP was unyielding. He insisted that he had done nothing wrong, that he had just used his own stuff, and that if someone else had used it without permission, it was not his fault. The atmosphere in the apartment became extremely tense. Jamie was still angry and started telling his mutual friends about the story, which made OP feel judgmental. So he decided to post on Reddit to ask, "Was I wrong to do that?" Immediately after OP shared this controversial situation on the am I the asshole subreddit, the post quickly received tens of thousands of upvotes and comments in just a few hours, creating a wave of extremely fierce debate, divided into many clear opinions. Many people think that OP's actions are not only reasonable, but also extremely clever. Here are some prominent supportive comments. NTA. Who would blame you for drinking your own milk? If Jamie didn't steal the milk, she has nothing to fear. This is a great gotcha. She dug herself into a hole and fell into it. You did nothing wrong. How can people be angry at you for using your own stuff? Are they forgetting who is in the wrong here? You didn't try to hurt anyone. If she gets a stomachache from drinking your milk without asking, it's her fault. Some people were neutral or tried to see both sides. I understand your frustration, but perhaps instead of quietly switching the milk, you should have been more explicit with Jamie. She was wrong to take the item, but you should have been careful because of the health implications. You may be right in theory, but morally, your actions were a bit passive-aggressive. If she really didn't mean it, but just made a mistake, then this is a bit harsh. Although not many, there were still some who strongly criticized OP's actions. You knew she was lactose intolerant, and you left the cow's milk there without warning. That's irresponsible. You could have proven she took the milk by installing a camera. There's no need to take such a risky approach. You put other people's health at risk. That's crossing the line. This is no longer about teaching someone a lesson, but about intentionally causing serious consequences. The top comment with over 40,000 upvotes You're not the bad guy for protecting your property. If someone is affected by your living by the rules, it's their fault, not yours. Jamie wasn't harmed by you. She was harmed by your disrespect. You truth spills hard. This comment received thousands of responses in agreement, many of whom said they had been in similar situations and had also been blamed for it, even though they were the victims. From this story, a series of topics were expanded by the Reddit community. Times my roommate stole food, sharing to know I'm not alone. What would you do if someone was allergic to something you ate? Was it your responsibility to warn them? When does trapping someone cross the ethical line? Living together, when privacy and respect don't go together. The Reddit community has gone beyond OP's personal story, turning it into a broader discussion about ethics, privacy, and personal boundaries in shared living spaces. After receiving overwhelming support and insightful advice from the Reddit community, OP returned with an update, sharing what happened next, her state of mind, and the current state of affairs between her and her roommate Jamie. The candid conversation that ensued, after Jamie was reacted to by OP's milk theft, she became angry and blamed OP for not warning her that it was regular milk. OP didn't play it off, but made it clear that taking someone else's stuff without permission was the problem. Jamie initially denied the behavior. Jamie initially tried to deny taking the milk, saying someone else in the house might have done it. But when OP pointed out that they were the only two people using the fridge, Jamie fell silent. The living situation became tense. After the conversation, Jamie became cold and distant to OP. They rarely spoke, avoided each other, and divided the fridge with clear lines. OP is looking for a new place to live. Not wanting to live in a toxic and disrespectful environment, OP has started looking for a new roommate and plans to move out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. No apology from Jamie. As of this writing, Jamie has not apologized once, nor has she shown any remorse. On the contrary, she has remained upset, even telling her friends and calling OP cruel. OP expressed deep disappointment with Jamie's response. She shared, "I don't think I'm perfect, but I know I'm not wrong. What I feel worst about is, I used to think of Jamie as a friend, and now I see that she never respected me as much as I thought." However, in addition to disappointment, OP also expressed relief and confidence after knowing that thousands of people on Reddit sympathized and supported her handling of the situation. "I no longer feel guilty. I have established my boundaries and no longer accept being taken advantage of in my own home." The story is a vivid picture of the unfairness of shared living, where the boundaries between patience and personal boundaries are tested to the extreme. OP felt helpless, tired, and betrayed. Living with someone who regularly uses your things without permission, denies responsibility, and then blames you. This creates a huge emotional whirlwind. Jamie, the roommate, shows defensiveness, denial, and blame, instead of admitting her mistake and apologizing. Instead of feeling ashamed, she plays the victim role, making the situation more tense. The conflict is not just about a carton of milk, but about a loss of trust, disrespect, and violation of personal space. Reddit is not just a place to share, but also acts as a modern social justice court. Reddit users helped OP clarify personal boundaries and affirmed that OP was not being cruel in protecting her property. Constructive advice, from conflict resolution to suggestions for moving, has supported OP both emotionally and physically. Many people have shared similar stories, helping OP feel like she is not alone. Reddit, in this story, acts as a community mirror that reflects right and wrong clearly and fairly. Character analysis. OP, narrator, is a fairly patient, calm person, but also clear and decisive when boundaries are crossed. OP does not respond with anger, but uses smart and gentle actions to get the message across. Jamie, roommate, shows signs of irresponsibility, blame, and dishonesty. She does not respect the shared living space and even tries to turn the tables to avoid having to face her mistakes. Lesson learned. Respecting personal boundaries is at the core of any relationship. Living with someone is not just about sharing space, it's about sharing responsibility and respect. It's not selfish to speak up for yourself. When OP chose to change her formula, it wasn't about setting a trap. It was about getting the truth straight, avoiding direct confrontation. You have the right to say no. You have the right to demand respect. And if the other person doesn't respond, you absolutely have the right to leave. Online communities can be a place where you can find support, sober advice, and sometimes even genuine comfort. And that's the whole stressful yet profound story of OP, who stood up for her space, her privacy, and her dignity. If you've ever been in a similar situation, being taken over, disrespected, or manipulated, remember, you have the right to set boundaries. And you're not wrong to protect them. Share your story with us. Have you ever had a Jamie in your life? Have you ever suffered in silence, or have you dared to speak up? Thanks for watching Reddit Stories. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on the most thrilling, touching, and thought-provoking real-life stories from the Reddit community. See you in the next video.